Literally. In a land of likes, leggings, and lattes comes a podcast hosted by two basic beings, Becca and Maddie. This is the Basic Bee Podcast.
All right. Welcome back, listeners.
Thank you for tuning in. Today's episode should be a juicy one.
Yeah, this is one I've been really looking forward to, but a little nervous about.
Have you been nervous?
Yeah, just because I don't want people thinking we're praising or degrading something.
Yeah.
It's more of a neutral subject.
Yeah, totally. That's a good point. I was thinking about that today. I'm like, I hope this doesn't come across a certain way. Yeah. I think it's just an interesting / sometimes funny subject matter.
Yeah.
And the subject is sugar daddies. Let's just put it out there.
Yes, the subject is sugar daddies, and we want to talk about basically, how you could get started, the website, if you want to be at what it is, and we're going to actually talk to somebody who has had a sugar daddy.
Yes.
And, I really want to clear up what misconceptions there are, because there is a lot of judgment out there on the subject, but we also have horror stories and success stories to talk about with these too. So
I have a little sugar daddy history as well.
Ooh.
So I'm kind of excited for that, and it kind of sent me down a rabbit hole as I was researching.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just shows you that the history of sugar daddies is a lot longer than what you would think.
Yeah, it's not some new idea at all.
No,
so.
The term is pretty new, but I'll talk about that too, like where sugar daddy came from and all that stuff.
Yeah, so first, I kind of want to talk about defining it.
Okay,
so Maddie hasn't heard this yet. I thought the Urban Dictionary definition was hysterical. Okay, so a sugar daddy is a boyfriend who comes with financial benefits. Sugar benefactors can help cover tuition, bills, and frequently enjoy bestowing gifts upon their partners. Now, this is where I learned something new. Sugar daddies exist on 3 levels. Did you know that?
No.
Okay, so there's the Splenda daddy.
Oh.
And
he's like not super rich.
No, he's the lowest.
Okay.
He promises to shower a partner with cash and gifts, but is often limited by income. Next is the sugar daddy, who has budgeted amounts of sugar funds he allocates to a sugar partner on a weekly or monthly basis.
Okay, that's what you would typically think of.
Yeah, and then last is a honey daddy.
Ooh, a honey daddy.
Who is the cream of the crop. His income has no bounds, and he can easily support multiple sugar partners.
Oh,
yes,
I did not know that.
Yeah, there's 3 levels. And then the second definition on Urban Dictionary was a rich older man who dates a younger girl and buys her shiny things in exchange for sex.
Well,
so there's those 2. And a sugar baby they just defined as a young male or female who is financially pampered, cared for by a sugar daddy or sugar mama in exchange for companionship.
Yeah, and I think we have to point out sugar daddies / babies are genderless. Like, you have sugar mamas and daddies.
So that's what I was interested in too with Urban Dictionary. When they define sugar baby, they define it as a young male or female, but I couldn't find much on sugar mamas at all. So.
I know. I think sugar mamas are way less common.
Yeah, but they're still out there.
Yes.
So
I think I have numbers for that later in the episode.
Really? Look at you.
Yeah, I really went to town with the research.
I went down a rabbit hole myself. So I was like researching, and it just got deeper and deeper and deeper. And I found out way more than I probably needed to know.
Yeah, I think we're going to be like sugar daddy extraordinaires. Is that the word?
We could start a dating service that sets up sugar daddies and sugar babies.
I would not be opposed.
I know. We could do it. And apparently if we can get some honey daddies, we can make some money setting these people up.
I've never heard of a honey daddy.
I know. I thought that was funny.
That sounds more suave and sexy.
I know. A honey daddy?
Yes. Well, I realized we just kind of jumped into the sugar daddy.
Oh, yeah, we did.
But I kind of want to chat.
Okay.
maybe about our recent obsessions this week first.
Okay. What's your recent obsession this week?
Breaking Amish.
My parents used to watch that show.
Really?
Isn't it kind of older?
It is kind of older, but they came out with a new season.
Gotcha.
And it's like currently replacing my need for The Bachelor.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I have not seen that show since the original came out. So, right now I'm obsessed with The Vow. Have you seen that?
Is that the movie with Rachel McAdams?
No, it's
Oh.
there might be a movie. Yeah, because that's the one with Channing Tatum too.
Yeah, where she loses her memory.
Yeah, no. It's I think it's The Vow. It's a series about a cult. So.
Oh wait, is it on
maybe
Netflix?
It's The Vow. Yeah, I forgot what program it's on now. It's leaving me. I've been listening to podcasts about it.
Oh.
But I want to watch and binge the show. And so, like, I was going to at lunch, but I was like, this is probably not, like, something I should binge at lunch and then go
You had to
work.
research sugar daddies.
Yeah.
Well, I've also been obsessed with breakfast burritos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Breakfast burritos?
I just thought I don't have enough material to talk about sugar daddies.
Yeah.
So I had to talk about our obsessions.
Well, that's fine. I was going to say I'm obsessed with the, I lost the name for it. It's a conspiracy theory out right now about sex trafficking of children. It starts with an A, and it's this drug, apparently, that they used in a movie with Johnny Depp in the 90s. And it's essentially where you kidnap a child and you scare them to death. And the blood from their sensory is like the best drug there is. Now, this is conspiracy. There's no proof in this. But apparently, like, it's a thing. And then they send the bodies to McDonald's. And we're eating dead children. I don't know. I don't.
That took a turn.
I know, it did. But, like, I've been researching it ever since I heard about it. Someone told me about it. And there's, like, all this stuff. But once again, I think it's a conspiracy. I don't think McDonald's is feeding us dead children.
Do you think that Taco Bell is feeding us horse?
Yeah.
You think that's true?
Yeah.
Just not the children.
Not the dead. I mean, like, I don't know. I just don't know how it could be, like, unknown. But apparently it's like this drug celebrities take so they stay looking young forever. I don't know. But the whole conspiracy is that celebrities hate Trump so much because he's the one that started, like, uncovering going after sex trafficking. So that's, like, apparently what triggered it.
I was gonna say, this sounds like it could be intertwined with QAnon. You know what QAnon is?
Mm-mm.
Really?
No, see, this is... I try to avoid this stuff because I might become obsessed with it. And while I know it's not true... Well, I don't know it's not true, but why I think it's not true, I can't eat McDonald's anymore.
You just have to eat McDonald's, appreciate the flavor, and not look at the food or think about it. I realized that a while ago after watching a video of how they kill the chickens.
I
don't know. It really makes you think. Maybe we should be vegan, but then there's just no way I could be vegan.
Well, see, like, I think with me, I just I can't know about it, and I'm fine. And I'm like, okay, I really like steak, and I like nuggies. I can't give those up. Nuggies. Chicken nuggies.
Ew.
Anyway, we went completely off topic there.
I know. Wait, what were you gonna say?
I don't know where I was going with that.
Okay,
I just was saying it was my obsession.
I think there is. I've been thinking about this because I have a vegan friend at work, and
okay.
I think that you have to, like, know the process that happens to the animal and have respect for the animal's life. But you don't need to, like, think about the gruesome details every time you eat it. Anyway.
That's why we pray before we eat. Bless the animal that sacrificed its life.
I think it's important to acknowledge the life that you're eating. Yeah. But anyway.
I mean, yeah. I can't think of it. I don't know. I feel bad. I do like chickens and I love pigs.
I know.
I just have to separate the two.
Exactly.
It's like Charlotte's Web.
I can't watch that movie.
Ugh.
All right, maybe we should go back to sugar daddy.
Okay.
Sorry, that was totally my fault.
No, you're
That
fine.
rabbit trail.
We should have started with the rabbit trail and gone.
I know. I'm just worried this episode won't be long enough. but-
Okay. Well, we'll find out.
All right. I actually have a lot of history, so maybe it will be too long. But what's our next point here?
The sugar daddy websites is what I have written down.
Okay.
And the 12 sites that I found that were most popular it's called Seeking Arrangements, What's Your Price, Ashley Madison, Sugar Daddy Meet, Millionaire Match, WealthyMen.com, Reddit.com/SugarBaby. I don't know how that works. Millionaire Mate, SugarDaddy.com, Established Men, SugarBook.com, and SugarDaddy.com. And there's 2 SugarDaddy.coms. One is DADDIE. One is DADDY.
There's no honeydaddy.com, though.
No, but I feel
That's
like
what
that's
I would
Millionaire Match.
That's what I'd want to get on. Well, yeah, obviously I saw Seeking Arrangements when I was looking stuff up. And I thought something interesting was the guy who started it in 2006.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty old.
Yeah.
And I saw that there's 8 million sugar babies on there, but there's 2 million sugar daddies / mommies.
Wow.
I thought that was an interesting ratio because that's a huge difference. And I think it's that site where the sugar daddies and mommies have to pay a monthly fee.
Yeah, services are free for members seeking a sugar daddy or sugar mama, but for the sugar daddy or sugar mama, they do have a monthly fee. I found that as well.
So, I mean, they have to be committed to trying to find a sugar baby.
Yeah.
To be willing to have a monthly fee. But they probably don't care about money.
I would hope not.
So another thing I found about Seeking Arrangements is that back in 2018, they had an event in LA called the Sugar Baby Summit.
What?
Yeah, so it was like a meeting of sugar babies and sugar mentors, which are experienced sugar babies who like share their wisdom and advice and like how to like get money out of your sugar daddy or mom.
Wow.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool, but there hasn't been a sugar baby summit since then.
Yeah, well, maybe due to the coronavirus.
Maybe. But there was one in 2019. But I thought that was interesting, and I loved like the idea of Sugar Baby Summit.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be interesting just to go and observe and hear what people like. I love stories.
I picture Sugar Baby Summit as like a round on Mario Kart.
Well, you've been playing too much Mario Kart, I think, too.
Doesn't that sound like a Mario Kart course?
Well, I mean, just the summit. Yeah, Sugar Baby Summit. It sounds like a Mario Kart track where there's desserts everywhere.
Desserts?
And babies? I don't know.
I'm picturing hoochie mamas everywhere.
Oh, I don't think that's Mario Kart
and
appropriate.
They have huge boobs, and then you bounce off their boobs, and it makes you spin out.
Yeah, I don't think that's Mario Kart. Maybe, like, a different game. I mean, I'd be interested to see it, though.
Okay, so I have one more thing to say about Seeking Arrangements.
Okay.
So there is a Sugar Baby University on there.
Okay.
And it's for sugar babies who are in school and looking for a sugar daddy or mom. I'm just going to say daddy from now on, to pay their way through school. And they get an upgraded membership for free with proof of their school.
Wow.
I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And it's like a thing. It's like
a way to
Sugar
support.
Baby University.
Wow.
Yeah. But you don't learn anything.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, I guess, your membership type.
Yeah.
It sounds like. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Then I was going to mention on Sugar Daddy Meet. On that one, I found
MEAT or MEET?
MEET. So I found that if you're you and your daddy decide a pay per meet arrangement, often to pay for a date, people make $300 to $1,500 on average
Per date?
per date.
I don't think that's crazy.
I was like, I agree, but I'm like, what's going on the date? Because like,
It's like an escort, I think.
Well, yeah, I'm like, bro, I will go on a $1,500 dinner date with a guy if I don't have to kiss him. You know, it's platonic. Heck yeah.
Well, I think, like, something I read was, like, the options are literally limitless. You just have to find the right sugar daddy and discuss what your agreements are.
I found some of it's platonic.
But, also on sugardaddymeet.com, I was on the website looking around, and I saw something I liked about that website, if I were to become a sugar baby, is the sugar daddy can propose first date gifts to see if the babies are interested.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, like, he has to give you a gift before you even accept.
He gives you ideas and lures you in.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sounds like, you know, a good way to, A, get through school. And B, get gifts and, like, see if the guy's actually worth your time.
Yeah, like, you could have thousands of dollars of debt and meet a daddy and be debt-free after a little while.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've gotten several sugar daddy offers through Instagram.
Yeah.
So if you didn't want to go that route, you could definitely, like, scout out a daddy on Instagram.
Yeah, I bet you could. I'm sure you get a lot of DMs like that.
I mean, I don't get a lot, especially because I don't have, like, a provocative profile, really. But I've definitely gotten a handful of sugar daddy offers.
Okay.
And they offer a decent amount. And they're always like, nothing inappropriate. I just expect companionship and a little chat or something. I'm like...
What's the best offer you've ever gotten?
I honestly don't know. It's definitely under 1,000, but it's like, I think 300 to 500 per week or something. It's like an allowance.
Oh.
So it's not like a gift or, I don't know, like an unlimited amount of money. It's like, you'll get this amount per week or per month.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought we should touch on that.
Yeah.
Well, are we going to... I kind of wanted to tell you some history.
Yes.
About...
I did not look up the history, so I'm interested in hearing about this.
Well, I didn't really know there was a history.
Yeah.
I kind of thought sugar daddies were, like, a recent thing. I don't know why I thought that, because obviously the premise could be as old as money. But there's a long history, so... The term sugar daddy, let me read you something I found on my phone. I took a picture of it because it dates back to the 1920s, I think. So, the word sugar, obviously, has been a slang word for money and luxury since the mid-19th century and defines the nature of the relationship between the couple. The word daddy was slang among prostitutes for an older man since the 16th century and refers to the age difference between the two. The term sugar daddy has been used since the beginning of the 19th century when Adolf Spreckels, heir to the Spreckels sugar fortune, married a woman who was 24 years younger than him and called him sugar daddy. However, the first recorded use was in 1923 in the Syracuse Herald in an episode of the story Fat Anna's Future.
Wow.
But yeah, so the word sugar daddy came from a guy who, I guess, like, had money from a sugar kind of company or a candy company, and he married a young woman, and she called him her sugar daddy.
Wow. So, yeah, it's been around a lot longer than I thought.
Yeah, I thought it was, like, kind of a funny term recently made, but it's actually pretty old. And then there's actually, I keep saying actually, so there's some even older sugar babies that I thought I could talk about really quick. So the oldest one I found, her name was Diane de Poitiers. She was born in 1499 till 1566. And she was King Henry, I think, the second's chief mistress. She was taught music, hunting, languages, and dancing, and she could read Latin and Greek.
Wow.
So she was a very educated sugar baby.
Yeah.
And she was known for bathing in ice water every morning.
Ooh,
and
that'd be cold.
She was renowned for her beautiful white skin. She drank liquid gold to preserve her youth. And because of her sugar baby lifestyle, she became an influential member of the French court.
Interesting.
Because of her sugar daddy. So she kind of climbed the social ladder.
Yeah, well, coming to think of it, like how many women want to, even as a kid, you're taught to fantasize about princes because I want to live in a castle. I want to do this. It's all that's wealth,
Mm-hmm.
So
it's all sugar baby, like setup.
Yeah, I didn't
think of that.
Well, come to think of it, you want to marry a guy that hits all these marks, and while they might not be like profoundly rich, you're kind of looking for wealth as a woman because it's a sign of security, at least, so.
Kind of any situation where you're looking to date a person for your own gain is a sugar baby lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So you marrying Brandon, you're a sugar baby.
Essentially.
Like, we're all sugar babies. I think he's
my Splenda daddy.
Yeah, I think Adam's my Splenda daddy.
Maybe one day they could be sugar daddies or honey daddies.
I think Adam will be a honey daddy at some point.
Well, there you go. That's the only that's what you need to call him from now on.
Okay, I have one more sugar baby of history.
Okay.
Her name was Madame de Pompadour. She was born in 1721 and she lived till 1764. She was proficient in dance, drawing, painting, embossing, and acting. And the way she became a sugar baby was she caught King Louis XV's attention by riding in a pink carriage in a blue dress. And then later she rode a blue carriage in a pink dress in his path. Mm-hmm. And he noticed her, and they officially met at a masked ball or a masquerade, and he bought her mask, I guess. Or no, I'm confusing that with another sugar baby story. Ignore that part.
Okay.
So they met at this masquerade, and they unmasked each other or something, and she became his official mistress soon after.
Wow.
So isn't that very romantic?
It sounds like she was seeking him out.
She definitely wanted to be a sugar baby.
Yeah, she wanted to get his attention somehow.
But like the benefits of her becoming his sugar baby, or she became a powerful member of the court, and then she secured titles for herself as well as her family. So it actually benefited her family.
Wow.
Too. Yeah.
That's selfless.
I know, right? But I thought something interesting was, so King Louis XV had an official mistress when he met Madame de Pompadour, and she died, and he immediately put her as his chief mistress.
Isn't that interesting how kings and stuff, I don't know about queens, you don't hear about it as much.
Right. Do they have pool boys or?
Yeah, I guess. But it's interesting how kings had several mistresses. You said head mistress. That's the top maybe person you want to be with.
Yeah.
Because theoretically marriage wasn't. They
had wives.
Yeah, but
they were for bearing children and I don't even know, keeping the duties.
A lot of times wives were people you didn't really get to pick though.
Yeah, it was arranged and they were in the royal family. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like their mistresses were actually love interests and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, it kind of made me want to go to Versailles because I was realizing it's the land of sugar babies and we just don't talk about it like that.
No, it's kind of looked down upon once again, but like you said, she was his head love interest. You know, she probably wasn't looked down upon.
She was it'd be baby.
Interesting. Head sugar baby, and he was a honey daddy.
He was definitely a honey daddy.
Yes,
she got put up in a castle.
Yeah.
And then also, just to finish up the history segment,
Okay.
I'm just teaching you here.
I'm excited.
So there were 2 movies in 1953 kind of around the premise of sugar daddies, and they both starred Marilyn Monroe. Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and How to Marry a Millionaire. So.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, that was kind of the history lesson I wanted to teach you. But.
Well, hey, it proves that, being a sugar daddy and having a sugar baby, it's not that old of a concept, or not that new of a concept.
Yeah.
You wonder how far back it goes.
I mean, every Disney princess is kind of a sugar baby.
I mean, essentially, a lot of them don't come from wealth. Cinderella.
Yeah, it's like the story of coming to wealth through your daddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cinderella really wanted to go to the ball and get her a honey daddy.
Yeah, it's basically the story of what I just said.
Yeah.
But, okay, so we have a couple of success stories. I have one. Becca has 2. So maybe you should tell one of yours first.
Okay, yeah. So I got all of these off Reddit just for context here. So I have Larissa Law. She said that she was not the sugar baby, but she had a friend who did one of these, like, seeking arrangements on a website, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was in a long-distance relationship with her boyfriend, her friend was. So, and needed some extra money while going through college. So I wonder if she was on that one site you talked about. She logged into the website and received numerous amounts of messages from different suitors. One gentleman, who was about 65 years old, made her an offer. The age difference was quite a turnoff, but the generosity of his offer struck her attention. He would pay for her to go and fly out to her boyfriend once a month, as well as give her a weekly allowance of $250.
Weekly allowance of $250?
But, I mean, think about the plane ticket. That has to be an additional $500.
That's true, but come on. That's a splendid daddy.
Well, the only interaction the two would have were to go to dinner and get their nails done. Basically hang out 1 to 2 times a week and explore the town in a way that would resemble what 2 good friends would do. There was no physical relationship. She said, I found it odd, but she related it to a relationship that you would have with a rich uncle.
Or your gay best friend.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like he just was lonely.
That's
it's kind of sad that he maybe... I mean, I know a lot of guys that like pedicures. Brandon won't try it. I want him to.
Adam has had a pedicure.
I want Brandon to try it. I told him it's, like, so worth it. But... So, yeah, it was kind of like that arrangement that you were talking about before.
She was definitely in Sugar Baby University.
Yeah. So.
Well, that was definitely a success story.
Mm-hmm.
I think he should cough up a little bit more money, but.
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, it's like you get your dinner paid for and nails. So
and
that's.
Plane tickets to see your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Who you actually like.
Yeah.
Well, my success story, her name was Jessica.
There's a squirrel outside and my dog is freaking out. Continue.
So her name was Jessica, and she had a sugar... Oh, she was telling how she, offers to a sugar daddy, like, what she is expecting.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll start her pricing at around $400 to $500 per hour. Like, so if she has a date in the last 2 hours, that would be $1,000. And her highest paying sugar daddy doesn't sexually function. And all he wants her to do is just sit by the pool naked in California.
Wow.
Yeah. So also, he takes her traveling with him, and she requires a separate room whenever they travel together, and he accommodates that. So she kind of hit it big there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to travel the world and not have to do somebody.
But you'd have to sit by the pool naked.
I mean...
You're considering that.
I mean, it wouldn't be a pretty sight, but... Do I have to shave my legs?
Or anything else?
Yeah. Luckily, I don't grow armpit hair, so at least that's,
You are so fortunate.
I know.
I grow too much armpit hair.
Life of a woman, I
TMI?
guess. What? TMI?
TMI?
No, absolutely not. This is a podcast
For
about
basic
everything.
bees.
For basic bees. Basic bees. Many of them do grow armpit hair. I'm a rare breed there.
You're a rare breed.
I don't know how it happened. But anyway, my second story is first world throwaway. She said, I'm not officially a sugar baby, but I'm in a strange relationship with an extremely wealthy man. So she's a sugar baby, like essentially. At first, I had a problem with how he spoiled me. Until he explained to me, it made him feel good to spoil me. At 25, I get exposed to a whole new world. The best restaurants, the fanciest wines and hotels, so grand that I thought they only existed in movies. He has made it clear that marriage and children are never going to happen and that I should just enjoy the experience as long as I want. He's also one of the smartest people I have ever met, and he has made me profoundly a better person by just being his person. He's my mentor, teacher, protector, and lover. ... And boy, what a lover. I have grown in my job because I'm able to give it my full attention and also because of the advice he has given me. I have had him cool it with the gifts because it made me look like a sugar baby. So she just clearly didn't want to look like one. Chanel bags and a Rolex were a tad too much for me. He is taking me on luxury chartered flights around the world in January, which is totally awesome. The only downside is that this will never end in marriage or children. I'm quickly falling in love with him, and I do not know what to do. He just recently paid off all my school loans behind my back because he didn't want me to have extra stress in my life.
That sounds like a lover.
I know. But he's clearly rich. He's chartering a plane for a flight around the world. He paid off her school loans.
He loves her, obviously.
Yeah, the success is obvious that, like, they fell in love through it. And I think he is older than her. And I would love to get an update from this person because this was published 6 years ago.
Oh.
So that'd be, like, really interesting if I could, like, reach out and get a follow-up.
Yeah. Maybe we should find her on Facebook.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to come up under first world throwaway. That's probably the thing. Not. I have to probably, like, get a Reddit account. But, yeah, it'd be interesting to hear, like, what happened to that, because that's an interesting story.
Well, she brought up a good point that I didn't think about. Besides riches, luxury, and gifts, you could also get advice from your sugar daddy.
Yeah, I mean, life experience.
And they obviously became wealthy enough to get sugar daddy status by having some kind of financial success. Yeah. So they're probably a gold mine of information.
Yeah, I mean, I could see maybe if she could compromise on the kids and have him compromise on the marriage, but it's just, if she really wants kids, then she's going to have to break up with him.
Well, he probably doesn't want a marriage because then she would, unless she signed a prenup.
That's what I was going to say. It sounds like she'd sign a prenup because she's not in it for the money. But...
Yeah. She sounds very in love, but she is only 25. I wonder how old was he?
She didn't mention, but it just sounded like he was older, so...
Well, let me tell you one of my horror stories. So, her name was Katie. She was 17, and she met her sugar daddy at a restaurant she was working at. Speaking of which, there were tons of sugar daddies that came into Ruth's Chris when I worked there.
Oh, I bet.
And you would see them give sugar babies gifts during dinner. So, like, the servers I would work with, we would all peer out and look at whatever they... were giving their
rate them.
Yeah, it was interesting. But she was working at a very upscale restaurant. She met her sugar daddy there. He was 28, so he was kind of a younger sugar daddy, but he was rich and he had tattoos all up his neck. And he refused to tell her his job or his real name. And when they went out, he would pay cash for everything. Like, he didn't have a debit card. She couldn't find any information. But then they kind of took a hiatus. They didn't speak for a while. And she got really sick. She posted it on her Snapchat, and he sent her flowers to her house.
Aww.
Out of nowhere. And she was very flattered, 17 years old. And then, so he was like, we need to go out again. And so he picked her up in, like, a kind of crappy Ford, even though he had been posting, like, Range Rovers and all these fancy cars. So she was kind of confused. And then he said he had to go pick up something from his house, and it was this big, gorgeous mansion, like cars out in the front. There was a huge fountain. It was in the hills of the countryside, like in England. And so he brought her to his house before a New Year's masquerade ball. And he said that his car broke down and he needed his sister to come drop off their Range Rover so they could drive it to the masquerade ball. So they're waiting, and she finally realizes that his sister isn't coming, and they're in his bedroom, like, waiting, supposedly. And she realizes it's kind of like a trap. Like, she can't just Uber and leave. He's kind of trapped her in his room. So finally, she convinces him to take her home after like hours and hours and hours of him just refusing to leave, refusing to take the car he had.
That's kind of scary.
I know. She said that she was really scared, and they didn't talk for a long time, but then he came to her work and just like stared at her later.
That's creepy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that was kind of a horror story. It could have gone really bad.
Yeah. I mean, thank God he took her home. Like, that's terrifying, because he was clearly trying to get something else out of that.
Oh, yeah.
So.
All right, your turn.
Okay. So, I do not know the name of the person that posted this on Reddit, but their story is, I'm a kinkster and into BDSM. But I don't really bring it up when sugar dating, because it's not this important to me. I need to add in, I do believe it's a man on man, like two guys. Then I started chatting with a guy through a national sugar platform. He seemed acceptable by his profile pics. We talked a lot about many stuff, and it ended up that he was also into BDSM and like the same kinks as me. Everything seemed perfect. Then our first meeting came up. You guys, he is very different from the photos in person, much older than it seemed, and not acceptable at all. But I still gave him a chance since our previous talks went so well. He was wearing a very worn out jacket and only had a $100 bill to pay for our meal, which caused him trouble because the waitress did not have enough change, and somehow thought it would be a good idea to hug me out of nowhere, which he did a lot of times. Before the end of our date, I was already very uncomfortable and wanted nothing more to do with the guy. To make it worse, we were caught in the middle of a very heavy storm, and when I mentioned that I didn't know how I was going home, he simply looked at me and asked if I didn't have Uber on my cell phone. I obviously do, but I told him I didn't, and he just shrugged and told me too bad. I was going to need to wait for the rain to stop. Luckily, my great-grandma lived nearby, so I just said goodbye to him and ran to her apartment. I went on a small trip that weekend, and this guy sent me over 100 messages. He made a huge fuss when I told him it wasn't going to work. That happened about 2 years ago, and he still stalks me on social media and sends me many messages, which I ignore.
He was definitely not rich.
No, he was not rich. Unless he was maybe doing it to see if the guy liked him for who he was. I don't know.
That sounds kind of sad again, but it's like, come on.
Yeah, but you're on a website where you're advertising that you're rich, knowing that somebody's looking for somebody who is rich.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Like, that's just going to end in a disaster. The crazy thing to me was that 2 years later, this guy was still trying to stalk him.
Ew.
Isn't that weird?
He must have really grown feelings.
Yeah, something.
Well, my next horror story, her name was Chrissy, and she was 20. She met this sugar daddy at the airport. He was like 50 plus. She didn't say exactly, but he was definitely like older dad age. And then when she was about to leave the airport after they landed, he like grabs her bag from her, and he says like he's not going to let her leave without getting her info. And she kind of like, he was in first class, he had a Rolex, he kind of looked rich. And so she gave him her info, and basically she knew from the get-go she wanted to use him for money. And so they go on a movie date, and they go see the movie, what's it called? The Call with Halle Berry. Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
It's basically a movie where this little girl gets kidnapped and Halle Berry is like chasing her down, she's a 911 dispatch and tries to rescue the girl. But like there's like creepy scenes. Obviously the girl got kidnapped. So this sugar daddy like is trying to put his hand around her, and out of nowhere he just whispers, "I'm gonna do that to you."
Oh my gosh.
And so she's like freaking out.
Because it's probably child molestation or rape, right?
I don't know about that.
That's happening in the movie?
I mean, it's definitely
something sexual if he's going to do it to her.
Yeah, it was definitely...
Hopefully he didn't mean kidnapping.
Well, it was definitely kidnapping. I don't know about the sexual stuff. But she was like shook. And so she like never talked to him again. But... then he called her like a week after the date, and he was basically stalking her. Mm-hmm. And during the call, he told her he was going to chop her body up into pieces and put her into a cooler. And then he showed up to her college dorm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so she actually didn't get any gifts from him. He wasn't actually a sugar daddy.
She posing.
She just kind of assumed he was a sugar daddy. Oh, and also when she was trying to get his name and some basic info, he said his name was Schubert and that he works for NASA.
Interesting.
So
that's so creepy.
I know. I thought that was kind of funny though.
Yeah. Okay. Last horror story. So they were messaging with a sugar baby. This is, by the way, from the perspective of a sugar daddy. Was messaging with a sugar baby for a few weeks back and forth. Eventually, we decided just to meet up. I gotten a bit lazy because all my meets this far were good, and felt she sent me enough pics to be confident when she showed up that she was really going to look like the girl in the pictures. The girl shows up at my house literally 100 pounds heavier than her pics. I'm not sure it was the same girl. At this point, I don't think she could have paid me to sleep with her. And he's a sugar daddy. I got totally catfished. The girl knew where I lived, and I needed discretion, so I ended up just paying her to leave quietly after she started threatening me because I wouldn't start an arrangement with her. Guys, do not get lazy. Always set up a meet and greet off-site, and if you see a behemoth walking in, just leave without saying anything. Expensive lesson. Isn't that awful?
First of all, first date, never give your address.
No, that's like when you semi-trust the person, you don't do that.
That's like dating 101.
Oh my gosh.
That was a good one.
I know. I thought that was funny because he was like, don't get lazy. You're going to get catfished.
That was amazing.
And he had to still pay her to leave.
And then he bashed her online and called her a behemoth.
Right.
Well, I think it's about time to talk to a real sugar baby.
Yes. Let's go ahead and do it.
All right, here we go.
All right, stay tuned for our interview, guys.
The first question is, how did becoming like a sugar baby happen? Like, did you seek it out, or did it just kind of happen with your circumstances?
So, I was introduced to it through a friend whose big sister was already doing it, and I had gotten over, or I had a really bad breakup, so they were like, you just need to do this, you just need to go ahead and just do this or whatever. And they told me a website, which I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on here, but
you can.
Okay, it's called seeking.com.
Okay, yeah. I kind of... Yeah, I looked that one up, and that's like the most popular one, so...
Yeah. That's the only legit one that I would know about. I don't know about anything that's like new age, but because this was like back in 2016, 17. But it was basically like that. And then I made a profile, and from there it was like all she wrote. I pretty much like made a science on how to like get guys.
So when you sign up through the website, it's free to you, right?
Yeah, it's free. I don't know if they changed things up. They give like I guess whatever access, I forgot what it's called, but like the better access to certain people. But all I know is that like I don't know how it works now. I know that I remember my friend told me you had to pay for something, but it was free back then. It was free, and you just made your profile, and you had a pretty nice heading, and then you went. Well, my science was that I just went through there and seen how many people were active, and if they were attractive, if I could, and then if I couldn't see their face, I request their private photos. If I couldn't, I wouldn't message them first. Never message them first. It's stupid. But I would just like their profile, you know, so that I've been on their profile looking, and then if they message me from there, that's where things would go.
Okay, so it's kind of like Tinder.
Yeah, for like old men.
Okay.
For like old men, and like, I don't know. I didn't have that many sugar daddies. I always talk about it like it's been so many, but it was literally like 3.
Well, I thought you only had one, because I very vaguely remember us talking about it at Mellow Yellow, and I was like, I can't believe like you had a sugar daddy, but now it's like a super big thing, so that's why we're talking about it.
On it now. I don't think it's. I mean, people were sketchy back then.
Yeah.
Some of the guys were sketchy back then. Like, for instance, one guy paid for me and my friends to have a table with bottle service and everything at a club, but none of us were over 21 except for him. Like, not one of us there was over 21 except for him. And they didn't even card us. They just kind of, like, let us through.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, and he's, like, in jail now.
Oh, no.
Like, for 30-something years.
Why? Do you know why?
He was like a part of the big scandal in Kentucky, which was like a tea scandal. They were like spicing tea leaves and like selling spice to people through the tea leaves. And like my friend, that was supposed to be my friend's like sugar baby. She was so wrapped up in him. But he was so cheap. He would, oh my goodness, he wasn't like a sugar baby. He was so cheap and he was just weird. But
oh my God. Okay, well, crazy. Becca's going to ask you the next question, so hold on.
All right. So the next one we have is, were you hesitant, and if so, why?
Yeah, I was very hesitant because I was from a more conservative background, and oh my goodness, the first time I met up with one, it was just, he was so demanding, like, put this on, that on. You know, there's 2 types of men. There's types of men that just wants like a personal prostitute, and then there's ones that want like sugar babies.
Yeah.
And so the first guy, the way that he went at it, he would definitely just wanted a personal prostitute. So that's what made me really hesitant.
Yeah.
The one that I had for the most part, which his name, he never gave his last name. I'll say his first name. His name was William, and he actually worked at my university. And yeah, he was more legit. Like it was more so like a mentoring thing. Like it was not. It wasn't just like, I'm coming to have sex with you, like you're gonna pay me money like a personal prostitute. It was, you know, we went out on dates. He would massage my back and ask me about my day and stuff like that. So yeah, at first I was very hesitant, but once I got involved with William, it became more comfortable because that went on the longest for like 7 to 8 months, and then I tried to see 2 other ones, I think, in between. One was an ER doctor, but they were all married. Like, it was
weird.
Honestly,
yeah.
The married ones were the easy ones.
Yeah. Huh.
So that they knew they had their business and they weren't trying to get you to be their girlfriend. The ones that wanted you to be their girlfriend wanted to control you and wanted to like you to be like their personal doll and personal prostitute and just do whatever I want because I'm paying my money.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
We're kind of like, I have my business, you have yours. We kind of like come together on this thing, and that's the understanding.
Yeah. Yeah, I read online that a lot of people it's platonic, and like, it's just people looking for sometimes companionship, someone to talk to.
Yes, that's what it was for me. It was like a lot of, I just wanted more so the companionship of it. I didn't even need their money. I was working like over double time at Raising Cane's at the time. I did not need their money. It was just more so I wanted that manly presence and then the mentoring as well. But it just wasn't okay. I feel like it just wasn't okay that they, were married in the end. I just kind of put that in the back of my mind. Oh, whatever. But
yeah.
Okay, my question is, when you like would first start having contact with whoever it was, did you guys like set clear expectations, or did they make it seem one way and then it turned into another thing?
So for the right way you want to do things, you do want to set your expectations from the beginning. You want to, like, that's the way that I went at things. Usually the second question, like, hey, what's up? Nothing much. So what's got you on seeking arrangements? And after a couple of, messages, it's what type of arrangement are you looking for, to see if you guys are even compatible, looking for the same type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's where things are set up as, like, the way that things will go. And you set your boundaries, and if they don't, agree with that, if they want something else, then, you don't have to choose him. Or if they want something more and, you're not willing to do it, they don't have to choose you. So it's usually set beforehand. You don't want to go into it not being guaranteed your side of the end of the agreement, or like feeling like you gave too much of yourself for what you got.
Right. Did you know like what expectations to set, or were you kind of like naive to it at first?
For the first guy, I definitely just kind of went at it like, okay, he wants me to do this. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. But after that mistake, and then, remembering how I felt and everything, I was like, okay, there's got to be some clear guidelines to this. Like, I'm not a personal prostitute. Like, I'm not going to be just, your little pocket vagina to pull out whenever you're bored.
Yeah.
And I'm not your doll either.
Right.
They want to stop it and then dress you up the way they want you to. And it's, and it's like, I'm not wearing clothes that I don't want to wear.
Yeah. That is crazy. They like pick out your clothes even. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, when I went to California to see one, he's so obviously gay. Some of them are just gay. They just don't want to admit it.
I forgot you told me this, that it was like a gay guy and he just was like fronting.
Yeah, he was like, I gotta do my yoga like every night before I lay down. And he was like, I like Pilates. I don't know why the gay community loves me so much. Like, sir.
Because you're gay.
At least you didn't have to service him.
Yeah. Even with him, that was like the least sexual active, like, sugar daddy I had.
That's the kind of one I would want.
Yeah, I mean, there's like some of them on there. Like, one of them, I kind of missed my chance with this guy. He was a germaphobe. He did not want to be touched. He did not want to be in physical contact with that. But I thought that was weird. I was like 19, so I was like, "What's wrong with you? You're probably a creep. You're probably trying to kill me." I don't know why I thought that, because that was probably the easiest money ever. And he was trying to pay $500 a week, so that was like my missed opportunity.
That is so good. Okay, let me pass the phone to Becca.
Okay, so you kind of answered this with the one guy, but when he was like giving you massages, but like. So you've had money offers. Did any of them pay with gifts as well?
I mean, yeah. The ER doctor didn't go on for long. He wasn't really like a mentor, kind of like a friendship type of thing, so it didn't last long for me, because that's what I wanted on my end of the deal. But when I first saw him, he was surprised, and he had this whole little like Bath and Body Works thing. And I was like, okay, like,
that'd be nice.
I mean, you're already kind of paying me at the night. You didn't have to do this,
Yeah.
And even when I went to California, of course, he flew me out. He bought me clothes, and he did that. But I also got paid for my time. That's the most important thing. You're paid for your time.
Yeah.
Not necessarily all these other things. That doesn't make up for anything else. You still have to make sure you're paid for your time.
Gotcha. All right, I'll hand you back to Maddie.
Okay. Are you still a sugar baby, or would you ever do it again?
I'm not a sugar baby anymore. I haven't done it since I dropped my lover and best friend, William Fulfillium. That's what I called him. I'm not, and I don't think, if I did it again, it wouldn't be in that way. It would be as in I would be looking to more so date someone who is single and, hey, wants to help me out and pursuing my dreams and doesn't have any other sugar babies, because that's a strict line you have to set with a lot of people. But it would be more so a serious partner that's helping me invest into my goals, instead of like me being strictly a sugar baby. Like, it's you'll learn as well as you go that there's different definitions as to what people, like I said, personal prostitute, companionship. There's different levels to what a sugar baby is, depending on the person. So for me, it would be more so like, okay, we're dating exclusively, and I'm this person's companion, and they're helping me with my goals, and meanwhile, I'm giving them that companionship, and yeah, it's just an exclusive thing.
Do you think that there's guys or daddies on like a website like seeking.com who are looking for that?
Yeah, there definitely are. I had more, like even William, he at one point was like, you are my sugar baby. I'm not going to choose, I decided that you are the one, but even at that time, I didn't want just one.
Yeah.
but, he was more so looking for like just one strict one.
Right.
And that kind of hit me when he brought that up. I was like, oh, like he's looking for like just one strict one, but he's married. But anyways.
That is so weird if he was married. Okay.
I know.
All right. How often on average did you talk to or have to see the guys?
See, I liked it better, like I said, with the agreement with me and William. Some of them, like the ER doctor, he wanted to have that companionship, but he didn't want to talk all the time. He's like, no, message me, don't message me. I'm around my wife, whatever. William, we talked every day. Like,
wow.
Every day. Talked to each other every day until we saw each other. We saw each other 2 to 3 times a week, and he would pay me $100 more every single time he saw me. So from racking up from November all the way up to that next April when I cut things off, it was getting like, I was getting a pretty good penny out of him. But yeah, me and William had I had a little crush on him. I can't say that I got like a little feelings for him at all, because he was so sweet and because it was a genuine companionship.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it depends on the arrangement. Not all of them are set up like that, but it depends on the arrangement that you set up.
Awesome.
That was kind of my next question was, did you ever grow feelings for any of them? Obviously you did.
Yeah, William was I did, because I would tell him all the time, like, if we went to high school together, we would have definitely dated. He was just, he was the calm. Like, I would be ranting because I was like 19. I thought, and then this happened, and so, and he would just be like, calm down and rub my back. And, this is all after we went on the date. And after, of course, we connected around. And it was better because I actually had those feelings. You didn't feel that way. And, yeah, I can't say that I caught feelings for him. I didn't catch feelings for the guy in California, of course. He was just too flamboyant for me. Or the doctor in the ER, he didn't want to talk much, so it was just kind of like, only able to connect as much as you want to, pretty much. But William, that was my special one.
And you said that the doctor was married, right?
Yes, he was. And
okay.
he complained mainly because his wife didn't want to have sex anymore after she had her second child. He's like, she just doesn't want to have sex anymore. I think with William, his wife cheated, and he found out because he seemed like a genuine good guy, but he had some anger with his wife. He was like, her, and he said it like in such an angry way. And I was like,
oh, there's some history there.
Yeah. All right. So, last question from me is, what's the biggest stigma or misconception about sugar babies or sugar daddies, in your opinion?
That you have daddy issues. That's all that I kept getting told. Like,
oh really?
You have daddy issues, and it's like, no, my father's around. He's a great guy, actually.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong with that. Just tired of hooking up aimlessly, and guys don't even want to pay for a Plan B pill sometimes. They don't even want to, take you out on a date beforehand. With this, I'm getting paid for my time. I'm getting taken out on dates and, getting mentored. These guys have money. They've been through life. I get to have, guidance and stuff. So, a lot of them just said, oh, you have, like, daddy issues. That's wrong. And then another stigma about sugar babying that I would bring up is that, I don't know, that you get to kind of do whatever you want. They do kind of still want you to be on their time. Like, you got to understand that you are giving up for money. You are basically serving this other person for money. And so when it comes to, like, doing things on your own time, which is ultimately how me and William ended, they don't really like that if you're not, like, at hand for them, like, or even trying to prioritize the relationship, unless, you know, they're busy, just as busy as well. It's not just the whole free game, like, oh, I get to see them whenever I want. Like, no, they do have expectations coming into it. And even if they don't say, oh, I don't see you that way, that's the agreement. They're spending their money. It's like spending money on a service, pretty much. Like, people expect to get their service.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, I'll give you back to Maddie.
Okay, this is our last question. Basically, it's just a free range. I wanted to know if there were like any final thoughts or advice to people looking to become sugar babies that you could give.
Be safe. Be safe. It's really hard, honestly, because my friend, you know, I got the lucky ones. I got guys that weren't crazy and stuff, but my friend has been chained up in basements and, you know, Tickle tortured and on sex machines and stuff. And, you know, you gotta know how to pick them. You gotta know how to read in between the lines over online, like through online. And even if you gotta do a pre-date before then, you know, do your screening beforehand, because these guys, you know, they believe that money is power, and some of them are like just maniacs. Some of them are just kind of psycho. Be safe and know your boundaries. Make sure you know that if they're married beforehand, because with William, that is something that I felt betrayed on. I did not know that he was married beforehand. That didn't come till months after. And make sure that's a boundary that you set. And no, like I said, don't give up any more than you're willing to. Know that you're always getting paid for your time. Don't accept just gifts for it. Always get paid for your time, no matter what. And yeah, good luck to you. No, also, there's no such thing as a young sugar daddy. They don't exist. They do not exist. Young, they don't exist. They're usually scams through the site where they're just looking for prostitutes.
Okay. Really quick, what is Tickle torturing?
I don't know, but I know my friend said he had her locked up on this board on his table, and he just kept tickling her, and that sexually aroused him. And yeah, she said it didn't even tickle. She just had to pretend like she was laughing for hours.
That poor girl, but hopefully she got a.
And then he paid her $500. So that was that. Yeah.
It's almost worth it then. All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on here. I'll message you tonight, and of course I'll send you the final video, but thank you. Yeah, I think that really sums up this episode. Becca's gonna read our misconnection for this week, so
this one's kind of short.
Okay.
It's in Chicago.
Okay.
Any ladies looking to have their carpet cleaned? I know, it's really gross.
I hate it.
I'm visiting Chicago and I leave tomorrow night. I was wondering if there are any ladies that would like to have a carpet cleaning. I'm very good at my work and I have a lot of experience and very big tools.
Ew.
So ladies in Chicago, do you need your carpet cleaned?
He has big tools.
Yeah, and just remember what our lovely interviewee said. Screen and
stay safe out there.
Stay safe out there, especially getting your carpets cleaned.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect tie-in to everything.
Yes. Well, you have a wonderful rest of your week, listeners, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Hey, it's Becca.
Hey, it's Maddie.
Thank you so much for listening to the Basic Bee podcast.
Follow us on the gram at Basic Bee Pod.
And join our private Facebook group linked in the episode notes.
Be sure to catch our next episode and leave us a nice review.
Until then, stay basic.
Bye, bees.